Unfortunately, what you're about to hear is real. The members of this radio program are simply not that bright, or what some people would call educated. They are merely stupid. They're not trying to offend anyone on purpose. And all have played doctors on TV. You have been warned and are cordially invited to join the party. This is the men's room.
Forget it, man, and get with the countdown. Get with the countdown. Shake this square world and blast off for Kicksville. The trippers, the grasshoppers, the hip ones, all gathered in secrecy and flying high as a kite.
This is the men's room with Miles and Thrill. You know what they say, shake your radio more than 3 times, and you're playing with it. You're listening to the men's room.
And away we go. Welcome to show number 2,824. Along with Steve the Thrill Hill, the Ted Smith, Robin Fox, and Mike Hawk. That's you. All right, in the men's room. On tap today, here come the bad jokes, bitches. The return of Ted versus the FCC. Get ready to play Profile This. Plus headlines, the men's room shot of the day, fun with listener emails, and everyone's favorite TV time with Ted. Click, clack. Drinking the door. All right, here we go as we head to Iowa, where a dog accidentally shoots his owner in the leg. Meanwhile, a new app lets you rate sexy moms by their photo, so you can hit on old Aunt Peg. Alabama school realizes someone had been hacking their computer and changing grades for 2 years. A Texas school stops birthday spankings and bringing your child to tears. Good idea. And a woman takes her dog in for a checkup. Turns out, dog's a fox. That is all coming on today's very special episode of The Men's Room.
And now, here's the question.
Hola, bitches. Good day to you and yours. All right, we told you the other day about the story. I toasted them for a shot of the day. Ted featured them during TV time. Our very own Mike Hawk talked about them during headlines. I'm talking, of course, about the 3 people in Texas who were bitten by bobcats that they had mistaken for kittens. And in case you don't remember, they found what they thought were kittens on the side of the road. They took them home, they tried to feed them, and then figured out that they were bobcats. And quick side note, it was all the biting. That was kind of the main clue. Biting. No one likes to be bitten if it's not invited. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't matter if it's a bobcat or a blister beetle. So you're thinking, well, what's a blister beetle? A blister beetle is a beetle that releases a toxin that causes blistering. And a woman in Arizona found that out the hard way after she was bitten by one at the movie theater. Side note, don't go to the movies in Arizona. And then in Florida, a teenager may or may not have been bitten by or possibly eaten by an alligator. That's a different kind of bite altogether. I don't know if you've ever been bitten by another person, a snake, a dog, cat, Bigfoot. It doesn't matter. How about someone you know? Today, it's all about the biting. This is our question. Who was bitten by what?
Be a part of the Big Show. Call 844-999. Only you can like The Men's Room on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter at Men's Room Live. And send those emails to The Men's Room at mensroomlive.com. You are listening to The Men's Room Radio Network.
We return to the men's room with Miles and Thrill.
All the shows, and away we go. Welcome to show number 2,824. What a large and charge program we have for you today with the exciting return of Ted versus the FCC. Bad jokes on the way as well, and we will drink and toast with the shot of the day. And today we're going to talk about biting. As you said, Steve, we've been over the story quite a few times, and ironically enough, we have another story in the news today of a case of mistaken identity in the animal world, which is just bizarre. It's happened again in 2 days, 48 hours time, right?
How does this keep happening?
I'm not sure. But they say the fur is flying after 3 people in San Antonio were injured by 2 bobcat cubs that they mistook for domestic kittens. The cuter-than-cute critters were found by a family and taken home. And that's when the felines began attacking them. She tried to feed them some kitten milk. They went down to a Petco, and they actually got whatever it is.
Kitten milk?
Kitten milk, and got bottles and did the whole thing, thinking that the mom had left them, right?
This is what happens when people see things that they think are cute. Like, oh, look at the kitten. Mm-hmm. Not a kitten. Let's stop by the store.
If it was a bat, they wouldn't care.
Oh,
right?
A bat, they'd have hit it with the car.
Yeah. So she tried to feed him some kitten milk, and during the process of doing that, 3 people were bitten by the bobcats.
Yeah.
Not bad bites, but bites. They do need to seek some medical attention. After the incident, they told the San Antonio television station that the family decided to look online and noticed that these young animals did not, in fact, look like the kittens that they thought, and they were, in fact, bobcats. Once they started to look at them, seeing as how they were kind of big and how robust they were and how their tails were bobbed, they started thinking, you know what? These don't look like your standard house cat. Maybe we should call somebody. It was that point in time where they called the Wildlife Rescue and Rehabilitation, local animal advocacy charity, and they put them there and put them under quarantine. A spokesman for the center told the television station they'll be monitored to make sure they can be released to a protected site. Adult bobcats, by the way, can get up to about 40 pounds. So, yeah, they noticed that
Why not take them back to the alley? Maybe the mom was looking for them.
I'm thinking about that one scenario where they figure out that they're bobcats, they're still in their home, and they call animal control. Because my first thought is I'd open the door and let them go. Which I know is probably a bad idea, but once you say, hey, man, that's not a kitten, that's a bobcat in your house, like, well, it can't be in my house. That's the first rule. It's got to go.
Just remember one thing about all these stories.
It's a bobcat.
But the problem is, I know that's my line of thinking. That's exactly what I would do, but I immediately understand the fallacy of that because now I've released bobcats into my neighborhood. You know what I'm saying? So that's why that's not the thing to do. But that's not the thing to do. But if it were me, that's exactly what I would have done. What I would tell anyone else, don't do that. But if it's me, hell yeah.
Yeah.
It's a bobcat, man. And once I know
they're already in your neighborhood. A lot of wild animals live in neighborhoods. You just don't want them in your home.
That. Right.
Miles, what are you doing?
Are you keeping it in your home?
No.
Really?
No.
So you're letting it go too?
Yeah.
I'm thinking about where you live.
Yeah. Hell that, man. No way. Get the hell out.
You and Ted would be the worst place to release it, I think.
No. Oh, yeah. I live right downtown.
Yeah, Ted would be
those
like,
bobcats are like, oh.
Homeless people getting mauled. And Ted's just like, hey. Couldn't be in my house, man.
I've
slowly closed my slider.
They've found coyotes in my neighborhood. They found all kinds. I mean, what the hell, you know?
So you'd release a bobcat where you found coyotes?
Well, there was a bear up in, up the road. They're animals.
But here's
the
deal: they found the bobcats in an alley. These are mom.
All right, fair enough.
I mean, Chicago gets overrun with coyotes every night.
Yeah,
right?
why is that?
I don't know.
Why is
kind of a weird
coyotes
thing.
are scavengers, man?
Yeah, they're crazy.
I understand that, but it just seems to me, take the size of Chicago. If you said this happened in Wyoming, I'd be like, that makes sense.
It's downtown Chicago.
This is Chicago. I mean, if you've been there, you understand. If you haven't, just picture like New York City, right? I mean, there's that many people walking around all the time, and coyotes are still rolling into downtown Chicago at night.
Yep.
That is messed up, man.
That is. All right, let's go to Florida. Authorities found a body Thursday in an alligator-infested pond in central Florida, a day after getting a 911 call reporting that someone was screaming that they had been bitten before then going under the water. Orange County Sheriff deputies initially thought they were looking for a teenage boy, since a witness told 911 dispatchers that he saw a teen flailing and screaming. But after crews pulled the body out from the retention pond, they discovered it was a woman who still remains unidentified. The woman's body, however, showed no signs of trauma from a gator bite. You have to remember, this is an alligator-infested pond. They found her body. There were no bite marks on this woman.
But here's the thing. Everyone thought it was the teenage boy who screamed, I've been bitten. I'm saying the alligator ate the kid, and her body's like either a murder, suicide, she fell in high, whatever, man.
Or she was murdered beforehand and then dumped there because they figured, you know what I mean? That's what I would do. The way that, like, alligators ate her. You have to
so if you're an eagle, you would snatch people's pets and feed them to orcas.
I'm just saying.
If you murdered someone, you dump their body in alligator-infested water.
If you're a murderer in Florida, when you dump the body,
I would release bobcats in my own neighborhood. I absolutely would push them. I mean, that would be my first thought, right?
Honestly, I think that's one of the issues with swamps.
What?
You just never come back?
Is people put bodies in them.
Wouldn't you? It's perfect.
It's like
not in Florida.
It's like the Pine Barrens in Jersey. Just dump them.
Louisiana, sure.
All right, here we go. Let's go to Alabama. This is crazy. A coral snake bites an Alabama man and paralyzed him. He's in intensive care. He's paralyzed.
That's a serious snake to bite you.
Yeah. I didn't even know they were in Alabama. I read the story today. I was like, golly.
Should they be?
I don't know. But no, not if they do this to people. They should not be allowed.
They shouldn't be anywhere.
They should be banned. You know what I mean? They should ban these. That should be the goal. Like, get rid of these snakes.
Right. Build a wall for that.
What good are they? You know what I mean? Like, what do they do? Like, what is their positive? What purpose do they have?
Nothing.
Right. And if they don't have one, exterminate them. You know what I mean? Go down there with some kind of traps and just catch them all and kill them. Because you don't want to get bit by this. Like, why would you want your kid playing in your yard if you know that they could get bit by a coral snake and be paralyzed?
Yeah, but the flip side is, if your kid's playing in your yard in Alaska, like a grizzly bear might eat his ass, man.
News outlets reported that Jeffrey Phillips was bitten last week when he mistook the snake his children discovered in their yard for a king snake. He was rushed to Anderson Hospital in Meridian, where an anti-venom was flown in to save his life. His mother says he might have to relearn how to walk, dress himself, eat, and brush his teeth. He was due to start a new job in a couple weeks.
Yeah, man, apparently there's a lot of these coral snakes in North America, all in the southeast, though.
Really?
Yeah.
Why? How did they get here? Because
God.
I know that, but
thanks, Ted.
But we've always heard of
and now we check in with Ted at the God desk.
Cottonmouths.
The answer to the question is God.
And rattlesnakes.
Back to you.
Why don't we hear about this happening all the time? You know what I mean?
It probably doesn't happen all the time. Maybe it's one of those things where they actively are not searching you out, but on occasion, should you cross. Look, the rattlesnake doesn't want to bite you. That's why it rattles the thing.
No,
it's not, hey, I'm going to bite you.
Up until recently, I just haven't heard of this snake, being that prevalent in North America to the point where you had to worry about it if you're hiking or doing anything. You
still don't need to worry about it. You only need to worry about it if it bites you.
Correct.
I mean, that's it. But otherwise, I don't think it's that. Obviously, it doesn't happen that much.
Right.
If people were dropping left and right in Alabama from coral snake bites, I just feel like we would hear.
What's the worst bite you've had? I've been bitten by a couple dogs, but honest to God, as far as just absolute, I cannot believe how much pain that just inflicted on me. Has to be a fly on Long Beach Island in New Jersey. Okay. This thing got on my back, man, and I think he took half my back out, man. This was they have horse flies on the beach there.
Yeah,
and God, it hurts. You're just you can't even speak. You can't even breathe. It hurts so bad.
Honestly, look at my hair standing up on my arm.
Have you ever been bitten by one of those big-ass flies?
That's why my hair is standing up. And I got
the worst.
Ugh.
And it's these islands on the East Coast. Yeah, Assateague Island.
Chincoteague. I got bitten up in the pool.
The whole thing is
big flies there, too?
Well, they have horses, number one.
But I didn't realize this one. Somebody said, hey, we should go. So there's this beach resort in Maryland. We've talked Ocean City, all right? And in that area, there are some islands where there's just wild horses. So I'm with some friends, and they're like, we should check out wild horses. When else are we going to see wild horses? I'm like, sure. So you go to this little island, and it's kind of cool, man, but they're not doing much. They're kind of doing their thing. They're looking at you. You're looking at them. And then my buddy, Puerto Rican dude, man, it's crazy. Ouch. What's up, Omar? Man, said, ow, ow. I'm like, what is going on? Ow, what the? Ah! And we're all screaming. There's four of us, man. And I don't a swarm of these things. And I don't know if it's horse flies or just weird Maryland flies or what they were. But they are biting.
They bite hard.
And we're in a full sprint to get back to. And we don't know what they are, though. You know what I mean? It's not like a bee sting or anything. It's weird, man.
Well, so Assateague, right, is the Maryland side. Then on the Virginia side of this island, it's called Chincoteague. And they have an actual little town, and there's hotels and stuff. And it's famous for making these wild ponies swim across in July or June. So I was at the pool, but I was getting harassed by these horse flies. We're to the point of I got to get out of this pool. And I still love indoor pools in general. But I couldn't even swim in the pool because these horse flies.
Was it just you? I mean, were they just targeting you?
Well, no, I was the only one in the pool.
Okay.
Everybody else was at the event watching the horses do the swim thing. I was at the pool swimming.
Who was bit and by what? 844-999-OLA.
You got to throw little kids in there, too, man.
What do you mean? Oh, getting bitten by little kids?
What is the age phase where kids will bite?
Up into about preschool.
And then
2
after
to 3,
maybe 4. But that's right.
That ends quickly because that is a big no-no.
Yeah.
I mean, in life in general, I think as humans, we even understand that that's not cool.
It's not cool because the thing is, the only people you will accept having been bitten by is a child, right? And even then, every time they do it, you're going to admonish them.
Or a partner.
Right. Listen, uninvited biting, right? So it's understood. But at that point, you don't ever expect to be bitten by another human being again in your life, man.
Yeah.
As an adult, we can get in a fight. We say we hate each other. We're trying to kill each other, throwing punches. I never expect you to bite me.
Dude, and humans, I knew a girl that was into biting.
Yeah.
It just wasn't for me, but she tried it one day, and I was just ow! And it, left a bruise. I think that's not turning me on. It's just pain.
How hard was she biting?
She got into it.
Okay.
Who was bit and by what? 844-999-OLA.
She liked the taste of French vanilla.
Say at that point, it's eating. Hello, Jen. Welcome to the men's room.
Hola, bitch. Hola.
Hola.
Okay, so I have to comment on that coral snake thing. Those people obviously never heard the rhyme, if red touches black, it's okay, Jack. If red touches yellow, you're a dead fellow.
Oh, I thought it was a racial thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, I didn't realize that's about
where
snakes.
that rhyme comes from. It's a distinct between a milk snake and a coral snake because coral snakes are highly prevalent all through North America. It's just most people learn this nursery rhyme as children to differentiate this one's dangerous, this one's not.
I think she just insulted us. Most people learn this as a nursery. Right. I'm going to translate what she said. I don't know how you grown-ass fools didn't know that. Because the rest of us learn as children.
Thank you for dressing us down.
Yeah, that's great. I feel like I'm in school again.
It's all right.
We learned that when the reptile man would come to our school. He always told us, if red touches black, you're okay, Jack. If red touches yellow, you're a dead fellow.
See, again, in my life, reptile man was the brother with the ashy skin.
Man. When I was in grade school, they said, don't touch the third rail.
Guy with gator
you will
shoes.
die. We're putting the train in. Don't touch the third rail, kids.
Right.
We were worried about snakes.
Right. Different concerns, but you know.
Right. So
I had my thumb swallowed by a rat snake. I'm the vice president of the Pacific Northwest Cryptological Society.
No wonder you know so damn much about snakes.
Yeah, I mean, come on.
You're trying to dress us down.
How many thousand watts is this radio station? How the hell would we know
I'm
that?
honestly not the most nerd. Like, I am a geek, but there are some other members of the Herp Society where they make me feel like I'm a dummy. I'm just an enthusiast.
We figured that.
But yeah, so we were doing an outreach for an adoption event. We had this pair of rat snakes. The male was named Johnny Cash and the female was Beyonce. We were trying to adopt them out.
What a
and
tribute.
I was holding Johnny Cash, and I was talking to someone, and next thing I know, my thumb is being licked. And I've been bitten many a time by different snakes. I can honestly list all the different species I've been bitten by. I can't necessarily tell you how many times.
Have you been bitten? Have you been bitten by any venomous species?
No, I have not. I do have a client that has a pet rattlesnake, but it's a venomoid, and it's been in the system since over 2007. So it is legal to own. And when I go take care of him, I just push him with a snake hook to get him out of the way so I can give him fresh water.
I do that with my children. That's the only reason I bought people. You got a snake? I got
Shut up, back in the cage.
I shove them back into their bedroom and they try to come out for water and stuff.
Don't talk.
Never turn your back on small children.
Yeah.
Wait.
So we were doing this adoption event, and the snake, he just started lipping my thumb, and next thing I know, he has my thumb all the way in his mouth, and he's just trying to swallow my thumb, and I immediately run to the aquatic department, and I start running my hand under cold water, hoping he'll let go, and that typically works. This guy was so like, no, I'm going to swallow your thumb. My friend runs out to her car to go get her camera so she can take pictures of this whole thing.
Is it still on your thumb?
And I'm like, what?
Is it still on your thumb while she's running to get a camera?
Yeah, we're both watching this happen. I run to the aquatic department. She runs to her car. Like, that was her first reaction. I got to get my camera.
I got to put this on Facebook.
And I'm like, I got to get to water. So she eventually comes back with her camera. She's taking photos, and I'm just like, dude, he won't stop climbing my thumb. I'm trying to get him let go. I'm drowning him. He's just like, I want to keep eating you. And I was like, okay, this is not going to work. And finally, after like a few minutes of continually trying to run him under cold water, my friend's like, we're going to have to pry him off you, man. And I'm just like, oh, I don't want to break his teeth. Like, I was so afraid of hurting the snake.
Who cares?
Who cares?
Who cares? He decided he wanted to eat you. You can't be cordial. All right, so what do you...
And,
did you rename him Linda Lovelace after that?
No, we still kept his name Johnny Cash because they were black rat snakes. So, like Man in Black.
Oh, it couldn't be Dikembe Mutombo.
And I think I got the Beyonce part. Okay. So do you take care of people's snakes?
I do. I take care of dogs, cats, birds, small animals like flying squirrels.
Flying squirrels? Who the hell has a flying squirrel?
Yeah. Sugar gliders. Actually, it's sugar gliders, not flying squirrels. They're separate.
Or is this P.T. Barnum?
I knew that.
Like, what do people do with it? Do they fly around their house? I mean, what would I do with a sugar glider?
They glide.
So they're like little tiny, they kind of look like little chipmunks, but they're actually a tiny marsupial. And they like to bond to you. You can, have them climb your drapes and train them to jump on you, and they'll glide to your arm and whatnot. They're actually really fun to play with. My clients that have the sugar gliders make owning them look so
It has to be fun to play with.
It sounds like something that you order online and you whip out when the time is right.
Right. And it shows up in an unmarked envelope.
Hey, baby, you want to try the sugar glider? Why the hell not? Let's go.
Yeah, sugar glider. By the way,
like a shot.
someone chimed in. She was telling the story about her thumb. It says, holy S, this entire time I thought she was saying my son. He had my son in his mouth. Thumb.
Let's get a camera and film us. Who was bit and by what? 844-999-OLA. More of your calls coming up. You are listening to the Men's Room Radio Network.
Hola, bitches. You're listening to the Men's Room.
Dr. Joanna Woods thought she'd been bitten by a bed bug or mosquito, but the Phoenix mom soon realized it was something much worse. It was so much pain, I couldn't get through the cloud of the pain. It was excruciating. I could kind of liken it to childbirth. When they ask you, is the pain on a scale between 1 to 10, there were times that it was well over a 10. Woods appeared to have had an encounter with what they called a blister beetle that has the ability to release a dangerous toxin when it comes in contact with human skin. The chemicals cause swelling and blistering of the skin and can be fatal if ingested by children. My first thought is gross. They're really ugly and gross. The idea of the whole concept of a blister beetle is really disgusting.
This is the same woman who thought it may have been a bed bug bite and was okay with that.
She is convinced her uncomfortable encounter took place at a movie theater a few nights ago when her arm started to itch. A few hours later, the arm was red and swollen and getting worse. The people at the Responsible Pest Control Center in Phoenix said blister beetles have been in Arizona for years and usually leave people alone, but not anymore.
Usually.
It's their season right now. You can find them in parks and bushes, your own backyard.
Yay!
A lot of times,
Blister
people
beetles.
will find them when they're gardening. They'll encounter them, so just be very, very cautious. Fortunately for the doctor, the medication she's taking has reduced the swelling, and her arm is getting better. She only wishes the bug could have bugged someone else.
Oh, hey.
Hey. Woo, Lordy, that was the singer.
Keep them coming. Who was bit and by what? 844-999-OLA.
Hello, Brian. Welcome to the Men's Room.
All right. So the person who was bit was actually me, and I was part of a malaria clinical trial where I was bitten by 23 genetically engineered mosquitoes.
Wait, hold on. Let me get this right. You voluntarily allowed yourself to be bitten by genetically engineered mosquitoes.
Oh, yeah.
And that's how the superhero movie begins.
What kind of drugs were you on, man? What did you need that cash for?
Oh, man. I was a little bit in between jobs at the time. Actually, was about to become homeless for a little bit, so I just needed some quick cash.
I know.
I had a buddy.
You had to need quick cash.
Yeah, we know.
We have genetically engineered
Right.
mosquitoes. We want to see what happens to you.
I just know that when you're in that situation, man, things are not going well.
You're the guy that should speak at high school assemblies.
Right.
Listen, man, would you let genetically engineered mosquitoes that carry disease bite you so that they can find out if something works or it does not work? If the answer is no,
Yeah.
get a job. But please continue.
Well, I was getting bit so they could test different cures for malaria. Malaria, actually, most people don't know that they freaked out, but there's 7 known cures for malaria. The reason why it's so bad is that the third world countries that these epidemics are happening, they can't afford the type of medication because it's either that or it's buying food for the month.
Yeah, well,
And they're not going to lower the price.
hey, it's not any cheaper here.
No,
you know what
exactly.
I mean? Whatever
We'd
it is.
rather you die than take any money at all.
Yeah, exactly.
So you, I guess you got malaria.
Oh, yeah. During that phase of the trial, they actually posted us up at the Westlake Courtyard Marriott, and we're
What?
staged up there until yeah.
What?
And I got paid $100 every day to stay there.
You got paid $100 a day. You're almost homeless to stay in the Marriott and get malaria.
But you're in a hotel where other people, you know, man.
This is a racket.
I want to. How long were you in this hotel with malaria?
I was in the hotel. I think it was 8 days total.
And when malaria kicks in, how do you know you have malaria? What are the signs? You have diarrhea? You bleeding out of your eyes?
No, there was actually the symptoms weren't really all that bad. The way that they figured it out was during the phase where we were supposed to be coming down with it. We would do a blood sample in the morning and a blood sample at night. And once you had 2 positive having malaria, two consecutive ones, that's when they administered the cure, and then you went through the symptoms and whatnot, and then the exact same process, except for the opposite. You had one blood in the morning, one blood at night, you had that both of them clear, and then you had to leave the hotel.
And do you watch the mosquito go on your arm and bite you? Is that part of the process? They got it in a jar or something, and they just turn it upside down in your body, or what?
Yeah, that was actually probably the trippiest part out of the whole thing, is that they set you in a really dark, low-lit room. It's kind of warm in there, and they bring out a cup that has, like cloth paper, like cheese paper on top of it.
Yeah.
And you set your arm on this cup that's got about 10 to 15 mosquitoes in it, and you just let them bite you and bite you and bite you and bite you.
And they have malaria.
That sounds horrible.
Yeah.
Well, see, this trial was for the Research Institute to see if they could genetically engineer mosquitoes to have malaria. So on their next trial, they don't have to worry about, only half the mosquitoes have malaria and the other ones didn't. So now we're just giving them extra bug bites.
I thought I was crazy with that whole plasma thing for weed money back in the day.
But see, here's the thing with that. Every time he sees a commercial and hears about side effects, he's like, oh, that's the drug I experimented.
Who was bit and by what? 844-999-OLA.
Hola! The shenanigans continue on the Men's Room Radio Network.